laser levels. I've got some tips for you about how to use them, how to set them up, how they work. So I'll go through each component and then hopefully this helps you out a little bit. Right, the first bit you've got the legs. Now these are actually important because a lot of people, they set them up without leveling them properly and then your laser's struggling to self-level itself. So get these as straight as you can, as secure in the ground as you can, because sometimes what happens is if they're on a tilt too much, the laser level will turn on and off because it's having to calibrate, because it's just beyond its maximum point where it can be unlevel, because there's only so far you can have it out of level, otherwise it won't self-level. So make sure they're nice and straight, but pretty straightforward. Then you've got the actual head of the laser, self-leveling rotary laser level. You get two different types mainly. You get a red one and a green one. On site, you want a green one. They're more powerful, they've got a better range, but there's not a lot to them. You put them on top of your tripod or put them on your pack of blocks or whatever, turn them on and they self-level. Then you've got your staff. The best way to think of these is it's basically a massive ruler or a massive rule. So each one of these blocks is 10 millimeters. The large black blocks, you see the ones with the three coloured blocks, that's 50 mil, same as the red one. And then from that line there below the 9 to that line there below the 10, that's 100 mil. So you don't need to get your tape measure out and be measuring distances necessarily. You have got to be careful because they're telescopic and sometimes the adjustment where they slide into each other can get a bit slack and it's not perfect. But if you are on like a main part, you don't need to, you can just use that as its own rule. So, and then lastly, you've got the receiver. A lot of people don't know this. Sometimes they get in the way. Nice little tip. You can turn them upside down. So all that matters is the lasers come on, touch that line there. It doesn't matter up the right way or upside down. So sometimes you can't quite get it. So you have to turn it around to give yourself a bit more room. But again, they're simple. You just turn it on, attach it to your staff, and then you slide it up and down until you've got it where your laser line is. And that's it. You can adjust the volume, adjust the sensitivity of it. Some come with measurements of how far off level you are, some don't. But honestly, there's not a lot to it. And that's basically it. A lot of people struggle with, because you've got to go down to go up, and you've got to go up to go down. And a lot of people sort of struggle with that concept. But all you've got to think is when you turn that laser on, that is just basically pulling a straight line through, a solid line that does not move. And then you imagine moving that staff up or down past that line. You're passing it up and down through a fixed point. So if you imagine once that line is hitting a measurement on your staff, if you was to go below that line, that line is actually going up on the measurements on that staff.